All right, welcome to another edition of Fansview Fridays. We're just about to go live in just a moment here. Welcome to the Wisteria Cottage. All right, welcome to another edition of Fansview Fridays. I am Nadeshiko, the Wisteria Witch, here to take you on a trip through time here on Fansview Fridays. Basically, what we do every week on Fridays at 6 p.m. Pacific time is we go through one of Kevin Lillard's old convention reports on fansview.com. Fansview.com was a very prolific website back in the day. In the late 90s and 2000s, Kevin Lillard would go to conventions, take photos of cosplayers, and also summarize some panels, guests of honor events, and so forth. Unfortunately, fansview.com is no longer up after Kevin had passed. A lot of what we find of fansview.com is now on the Internet Archive, and we also know how fragile the Internet Archive can be. So what we're going to do is every Friday, or at least we try to make it every Friday, is we're going to go through one of his reports, and we'll discuss and reminisce about the convention we'll be talking about. Today we'll be going back to Animazement in in North Carolina. So basically, here we have Animazement 2001, which took place between May 25th through 27th in Durham, North Carolina. We have our friend Uwatase and Pamela Voidner. We're in North Carolina on the Memorial Day weekend. It looks like we have two different sections here divided with pictures and panels. Okay, welcome the first costumers of the holiday weekend. Okay, oh, we have a Miyaka over there. I wish I could fit into my Miyaka cosplay again. We'll see. Just scrolling through here. We also have Yukino from Karikano. We have Miyu from Vampire Princess Miyu. Wow, a lot of magical girl vibes going on here. Including Belle Dandy, who is a magical girl, but not part of the shoujo genre, but she was very magical. Scrolling through, got a Kasumi. Looks like we have Misato. Okay, scrolling through. I've never actually been to Animazement. I've heard good things about Animazement. I love their guest of honor lineup. I recall, like maybe a couple years ago, the voice actress for Sailor Moon, Mitsuishi Kitano, was a guest of honor at Animazement. I've also had cosplay friends who are guests at Animazement. Utena. We also got Max from Macross 7. And again, if any of y'all are familiar with these fandoms, or if you know the cosplayers being featured, shout them out in the comments, shout them out in the chat. I also love how I've been getting a lot of comments on YouTube telling me, it's like, yeah, I remember a lot of these cosplayers. I might recognize a few faces on here. I don't know if I had like a lot of my East Coast and my Midwest friends go out to Animazement, but I think I did see a friend of mine who was super into Visual K in the background of one of these. We had vintage Luffy sighted. Like even in 2001, people were cosplaying from One Piece. We got some Sailor Scouts over here. And of course, random cat girl. I also feel that this is a period of time where animal print was really in. Speaking of animal print, oh, like I love the twin pens. That's amazing. We have Akuma. For a second there, I'm like, do I know that Akuma? I'm not sure. All right, another section of photos. We have, looks like it's Child's Toy. We have Professor Oak. I've noticed a Mew in his pocket. Okay, scrolling through. Okay, we have Twin Muse. Muse is like one of my dream cosplays. It's like one of my favorite horror animes. I'm actually really excited because I did hear that they were going to re-release Vampire Princess Miu. Oh, hey, Bit Parade, welcome, welcome. Are you brave enough to identify who you are in these photos? All right, we got Jury, we got Princess Kakyu. Seeing folks here. I may have also gone through this report when, as Animazement was coming out, because at the time, that's when I learned of more about Fansview and Kevin Lillard. Yay, you are awake. Looks like we have someone costuming from Gatekeepers. We have a series of broken images. But I did see Kevin Lillard take photos at Anime Expo 2000, but I wasn't aware who Kevin Lillard was back then. But I think I was made more aware of what Fansview is like, I want to say after Anime Central 2001. And that's when people are telling, oh yeah, that's Kevin Lillard. He's the guy who takes photos at the conventions, uploads them, puts them on Fansview. And yeah, I think this was like one of the first reports that I looked at as the convention was going on live. And I think I knew a few people who were going to this, but because it's just been a while, like I kind of forgot. Okay, we have Bell Dandy, we also have Larva. Oh, we got Sharon Apple, that's awesome. We have some Kenshin cosplayers. We have Merle. I want to say that's Puchiko from Digikarat. Looks like we got some love for Gundam. We got Ryoga. Oh, we got the onesie team. Oh, that's so cute. I love it. I think I'm at that age where, like, you know, it'd be nice if I could just like run around a convention just wearing a onesie. That would be like super comfortable. And remember, this is a time when you had to custom make your own anime mascot onesie. This is like before like people sold like onesies in a dealer stall, so you kind of have to make your own. All right, this Grecian goddess thing looks pretty familiar. It's like I don't want to assume what it is. I'm like, RG Veda, is that you? Okay, just scrolling down, scrolling through. Oh, it's Ayashi no Ceres. Duh. I remember that series. Yeah, Ayashi no Ceres. That was like the latest Yuwatase project. And I think that's why they were coming to the US to really promote it because I remember there was one Anime Central where I bought the DVDs for Ayashi no Ceres. And I remember buying the manga. Like that stuff was dark. I also love how this Max is just chilling out like right here in the background. Okay, we got Tamahome. Yeah, it seems like Yuwatase was just a huge fan of just coming out to like the Mid Atlantic for events. I mean, that's one name I would love to see come back at conventions. All right, look at the third group of people in costume. Okay. We got Mr. Snine. We have. I was gonna say Zelos for a second, but the buttons threw me off. Like, oh yeah, Noriko. Noriko is one of my other dream costumes. Yeah, we love Noriko. Okay, we got some Bust a Groove and we got Vampire Princess Mew. Scrolling through here. Oh, we got Ginray. That's adorable. I love it. Okay, just kind of scrolling through. Oh my God, Sailor Bacon. I remember his website. He used to post like anime lyrics on his website. I think I contributed like a few English versions of some lyrics. Derek in every cosplay from every con, lol. Yes, bacon. Scrolling down. Oh, they got the Bishonen trainer thing because I remember that we tried to make that a thing on the forums. Like I'm an official Bishonen trainer. Okay, we have Yamamoto, Space Battleship, Star Blazers. Okay, someone from this period of time is like, oh my god, is that a Black Widow? Like, no, you pleb, it's Fujiko. Like, I'm just saying, y'all need to watch more Lupin the Third. I'm just saying. Like, what do you think? Every redhead who wears a cat suit is Natasha? I don't think so. Animazement 2001. I just love seeing all the Digicart cosplayers because, like, oh my god, my heart. Because I used to cosplay as Ravion Rose, like, way back when. I love that Sakura from the movie. There's a lot of really amazing cosplays this year. And it's just nice to see, like, just old fandoms. Okay, like in the chat. Oh no, I might be in here behind Bunny as Lum. We all love Lum. Lum is one of my dream cosplays. I don't want to wear the bikini outfit. When it comes to Lum, I think I want to wear her. How was it? Yeah, when it comes to Lum, I think I want to wear her school uniform with the horns. Oh, that is a cool Vash. I know I've seen her in like other photos outside of Fansview, but I just love the latex look here with a very femme looking Vash. Okay, we got some Visual K, Relina, and we have a random Star Trek cosplayer. I'm only familiar with TOS. We got Sorcerer Hunters. Oh, we got 21 more pages. Yeah, around this time, Kevin really upped the number of photos he was taking at conventions. I was actually suggested to cosplay as Dota from Sorcerer Hunters because I did have a tiny red Chinese dress at the time. Like, yeah, you just need to just put your hair in hair buns and just like put wings on. And like, I could do that, but I just don't want to go through the trouble like putting up my hair in buns because I didn't know how to. And plus, I had shorter hair back then. We have Ray. We got Terry. Oh my god, check out Lum with that vintage camera. Yeah, I know. I'm calling a lot of the technology here vintage. Like I mentioned before, when I was at Anime Expo this year, I was getting a photo with my friend from Miss Candy Holic. And then I had my point and click with me, and someone, I asked someone if they could snap a photo of us, and they look at my camera like, wow, this is so Y2K. It's so vintage. That's awesome. I'm like, they just call my point and shoot vintage? Okay. Compliment taken. I mean, they did appreciate the fact that like I was carrying around like an old school character. I mean, old school technology. Got a race queen over there. We got Dirty Pair over there. I'm like, wait, Princess Jessica from Dune? Like the David Lynch Dune? Oh, there's a lot of Miyu cosplayers that came out this year. We got Karikano Goodness. Hey, random person, welcome to North Carolina. We are looking at photos from Animazement 2001. Enjoy the old schoolness. Yeah, anytime. I've been trying to like get a much more consistent stream schedule. Fridays have been pretty hard because like everyone wants to do something on Fridays. Wait, did I say North Carolina or North California? I'm pretty sure I said North Carolina. Because if I said Northern California, I'm like, oops. But yeah, Animazement takes place in North Carolina, not North California. Oh man, Sayanji and Wakaba. Talk about toxic relationships. Like, yeah, it's just like I said, like the reason why I do this is just fun to see like a lot of the fandoms, what was popular back then. Looks like we got some cosplaying from Gatekeepers. I remember like getting a Gatekeepers wall scroll like as a prize for making it to the finals at Anime Expo Karaoke. Oh, the name of the person's Carolina. I was like, wait, I had like a double take there. I'm pretty sure I said North Carolina, not North California. Northern California. Okay, we got some bebop fun here. We got Katra. I just loved the representation of fandom back then. Because don't get me wrong, I won't yuck someone's yum. Like, if you're into Genshin, cool. If you're into One Piece, cool. But I just kind of like to see how, like, you had, like, a little bit of everything back then. Like, I remember, like, the one anime expo where people were like, yo, my god, I saw, like, 8 Renoas and 10 Cheese. These costumes are so overdone. I'm like, yeah, flash forward into the future where you see a ton of Genshin cosplayers. I mean, I shouldn't complain because I also cosplay from Genshin. Aw, Erica Fontaine. I also cosplay as Erica Fontaine. Yeah, 30 Ryogas lost or pretending to be lost. Or maybe they were actually lost. Like I said, let's see here. I appreciate the Ray Earth representation. Not sure what these pastel angels are from, but their outfits are cute. You know what? Let me just go back there. One click. Okay, just scrolling through here. I love how we have Bunny Mai over here. That's adorable. Subaru from X. Sakura in her cat outfit. I am working on this outfit. I just haven't had a chance to finish it. We have Lena Inverse, Misato. We got Poochie from Animal Magnetism. And we have Genma from Rama One Half. I need to catch up with a new series. I want to say this is from King of Fighters. Ah, here we go. We got 2 duos. We got a duo of duos. Scrolling through. Okay, we got Juri and Miki. No, wait, his sister, Kozue, in the rose, her Rose Bright outfit. Got Merle from Escaflowne. Totally not Muzan. This ain't Muzan, kiddos. I honestly don't know who this character is, but it's totally not Muzan. Wait, Anna was here? I thought that face looked familiar. Yeah. I will save this to torment her. Crystal's MJ. I'm like, yeah, this totally ain't Muzan. Yeah, Muzan traveled back to the year of 2001 and started like, hey, I'm gonna be the first demon Slayer cosplayer like ever. I love how we have a Chronocos cosplayer in the background. Okay, we've got Surge. Oh my god. Who remembers I Want to Learn Magic? I remember watching that series like back in high school. Oh my god, Castlevania. I've been wanting to do this outfit. We have Utena from the movie. Check out them paws. We have Chichiri. We have Mai Shiranui. Yeah, I love that Mai. Okay, we got June from Sailor Moon. Okay, looks like that's it for this section of photos. I'm actually glad that we're actually seeing like a lot of photos from each of these sections. All right, let's take a look at the cosplayers mailing list. Wow, this has even a bigger turnout than like the last one I've seen. And the last one that covered the cosplayers mailing list meetup was Katsucon 2001. I think we'll be using this as a cover image. Yeah, so before social media, we had the cosplayers mailing list. I've never been a part of it. Cosplayers mailing list was right before my time, and it was ending its tenure like around the time that I first started. Okay, we got the Cosmen. Not sure if I recognize any of these folks here. All right, members of American Cosplay Paradise. Yeah, the guy with the purple hair, I thought that was, what's her face? I thought Medusa from Fate Stay Night Rider. Like, I like how my future sense is kind of like getting to my brain right now. Okay, looks like we have Furry 5 versions, King of Fighters characters. Just scrolling down. We have Vice and Mature. Aw, we have Human Luna. Adorable. Okay, just scrolling through. And likewise, if you recognize, oh my god, I think that's Anna again in a pink Utena cosplay. You know what? I probably should do the pink outfit one of these days. Nice sword. Okay, scrolling through. We have Mint from Animal Magnetism. We got a chocobo over there. We have Black Lady. We have Rei Ayanami. We have Garnet. I actually did think about costing that version of Garnet, even though I never played Final Fantasy IX. I know it's a crime, isn't it? Just scrolling through. Okay, we have Tifa. I might know this Ryoko. Her face looks very familiar. We have Utena, we have Nanami. Chill. Oh, we have Anthe. We also have movie Anthe here. Yeah, movie Anthe was like one of my dream costumes back in the day. KKK. All right, let's take a look at Saturday afternoon cosplayers. Not Sailor Bacon. We have Belle Dandy. Don't know what the yellow dress is from, but I dig the design. Someone calling us Evil Tamahome. Evil Tamahome is my source for enjoying dark romantasy. Okay, looks like we have Alita. I love that Eternal Neptune. I love the use of like very light, like minty green. Okay, we have Dota. We have Serial Experience Lane. I want to learn magic. Hey, we got Akane. We have Nadia. That's one fandom I'd like to see come back. I love Nadia's Secret to Blue Water. It needs a lot more love. We got Zilgoddess. Swamp monster thing. And okay, let's take a look at more photos from Animazement. All right, we're going to take a look at the Saturday Night Costume Contest. Okay, we have the kiddos that are going up first. Now, we got some strong entries right off the bat already. And remember, we're looking at this from the lens of 2001. So remember, we all had to kind of get creative on how to put everything all together. And I feel like we're kind of entering in that kind of era again, now that Joannes are fairly scarce. And I feel like we come to an age where we kind of had to pick and choose what costumes we're gonna wear, because I know I had to retire, like making like a new costume like almost every other month, and maybe limit it to like 2 or 3 new costumes a year. But hey, that's just the nature of the economy, and that's also the nature of just getting fairly getting old and not having as much time as you want to sew. But I am planning to cosplay from Uma Musume in 2026. Technically, I have two Uma Musume costumes. One is the uniform, which I'm buying off Amazon, and the other is just the casual version of the character's outfit. Because I was like looking at her outfits, like I have everything in my closet to do this version of this particular character. Okay, we got Anthony and Utena. I want to say this is visual K, but it's giving Beetlejuice. Or maybe it's just like an original design or original creation. Yeah, this is back when costuming, when cosplay contests were still a little bit of like a Wild West. Like sometimes you would just like pull like whomever you could find at the convention to partake in a masquerade skit. Or you would just kind of like, hey, entering in the cosplay contest sounds like a good idea at the time. And some people would just come up with the most random cosplay skits they can think of. I have no idea what's going on in some of these photos. Okay, we have like the Men in Black from Lane. I do need to watch me some Are they like doing a do-si-do? That is amazing. Looks like these folks are trying to explain Gundam Wing and as best as they can. Not sure what this is from, but I do dig the I Heart patch. Okay, scrolling through. There's Rabian Rose. Another one of the Vampire Princess Miyus. You know what? I probably should do her red kimono. I think I would have a lot of fun doing this. I just get like a short hair wig and just get like a hair extension. We have Moose versus Ranma. Oh, this looks pretty neat. It gives original design, but I do dig it. Yeah, these look really awesome. Looks like we have Visual K goodness here. Honestly, it could be Visual K or it could be Paradise Kiss. Who knows? You have Digiko. All right, let's take a look at the winners of the cosplay contest. All right, best of show went to the fairies over here. Okay, advanced costume awards also went to the fairies. Second place went to the Lane group here. I probably need to look up their video of some, likely it's probably online somewhere, but this looks hilarious. Third place, I'm like, is this Visual K? Is it Paradise Kiss? Someone in the comments, please educate me. Intermediate costumers. Just scrolling through. Novice costumer. Aw, I love the Harlock. Second place went to Vampire Princess Mew. Okay, other awards. Oh, Kiria Kamiya was the guest here. That's awesome. Yasuo Yamaguchi's award. Rick Forrester's award. Scott Houlet's award. Amy Tripton's award, Tony Schnur's award, Koichi Tsunoda's award, Tsukasa Kotobuki's award, Pam Widener's award, and the Tenchi Award. All right, we have one more page of pictures before we go into panels. All right. Looks like we only have 4 pages of photos here. Aw, the power to revolutionize the world. Got more of the fairies here. We have Tuxedo Mask, Lady Une. I do have Lady Une cosplay in progress that I need to finish. Okay, scrolling through. Just gonna hold right here because I think one of our folks who's in the chat is in this photo. Dum-de-dum-de-dum. Okay, next page. Yeah, these look like post-masquerade photos. Yeah, their group looks amazing. Like I said, it could be Paradise Kiss, it could be Visual K, I don't know. Please educate me. All right, let's take a look at panels. But before we do that, I'm going to take a quick break. Okay, we are back here on Fansview Fridays. We're going to take a look at the Animazement panels. Witness artists from 2 countries at opening ceremonies. North Carolina fans waited more than a year for the 4th Animazement, and their wishes came true Friday afternoon at the convention's new Durham home. The fans packed rooms to meet guests of honor, beginning with the voice actor and singer Akira Kamiya. Then came Tsukasa Kotobuki, known for his anime and video game character design. Next was animator Koichi Tsunoda, and ultra-popular Iwatase, back for the 3rd Animazement in a row. Anime director Yasuo Yamaguchi was a guest of honor at Animazement for the first time. And so were English language voice actors Rick Forrester, Tony Schnur, and Amy Tipton. Scott Houlet, who directed these actors, was a guest in 2001, and actor Pamela Wiedner was a repeat guest. This shows the size of the crowd on hand for opening ceremonies. Nearly all of these people then went into the hall to line up for the opening of the dealer's room. Iwatase enjoyed some time with their fans. If you want to know why manga artist Iwatase keeps coming back to the US for anime conventions, you only needed to see how Animazement fans treated them on the convention's first full day. Iwatase received a standing ovation when they walked into the room and used their first presentation of the weekend. When a fan asked Iwatase if they liked chocolate, the artist responded, "It's the best," and the fan immediately gave Iwatase a big chocolate gift. And during their panel discussion, Watase spotted a couple of young women dressed in Ayase no Ceres costumes, called them to the front of the room, and had their picture taken with them. Watase had some hints for the latest manga story they are creating. It is contemporary story but has some elements of fantasy. Will that series be violent as aspects of Ceres were? I've only started it recently. It may have some tough moments, but I want it to be an uplifting story, Watase replied. What do they think of the evolution of their art style since the older series, such as Fushigi Yugi? My old works aren't as polished as my current one. I like my current work the best. One breathless fan asked Watase how Watase was going to end a post Fushigi Yugi series that ended with an unresolved cliffhanger. That's the same question I get from the Japanese fans, they replied. I would like to finish the series, so please have patience. Why are there so many handsome men in Watase's stories? I just want to entertain my readers, and Watase said they'd like to spend more time shopping, but their manga work gets in the way. I'm not sure what I'm capable of doing other than drawing manga, so I hope to keep drawing manga. Here's a rare conversation between Japanese and American voice actors. The two worlds of anime voice acting, Japanese and English language performances, don't get together very often. That gap was divided in Animazement when veteran actor Akira Kamiya and veteran voice director Scott Houlet, assisted by a translator, sat down to talk in front of anime fans. The main difference between the two worlds of acting is the way of the voice recordings are handled. In North American animation, the voice parts are recorded first, and the animators use those recordings as a guide. In Japan, the animation comes first, and the actors dub their roles in a group, often needing no more than a couple of hours to finish a 22-minute show. The fans learn that the differences go beyond mere technique. Hulei's question prompted Kamiya to reveal that Japanese anime production is something like the just-in-time industrial production techniques that revolutionized the auto industry. Although anime production doesn't sound controlled as or organized, Kamiya said that most Japanese voice casts usually get the voice script on the day of the recording session. The first time you see the characters might be in the studios, Kamiya said. Normally you have no details about the character in advance. You have to develop the character voice very quickly, as Houlet. Part of the job entails developing the characters instantly, Kamiya replied. Kamiya added that the film that Japanese actors perform their roles to is often not completed. Many times the actors deliver their lines only to keyframes or timing marks. And since the actors must adjust to the final animation, Kamiya said, rather than delivering your lines, your attempt goes into making sure your character syncs up, referring to the practice that voice tracks match the animated character's lip flaps. How Houlet lets his English language dub actors change their lines as they see fit. But there's no such flexibility with Japanese performances. There are some shows that are slapped together, Kamiya said. More American actors talked about their work. Carolina Recording Studios, located in Wilmington, North Carolina, not far from the site of Animazement, has generated some intriguing guests of honor from the convention since its beginning. Since fresh faces who have worked on the company's dubs were guests at the convention's opening day, from left to right, they're Rick Forrester, Tony Schnurr, and Amy Tipton, all voices on Virtua Fighter. They were joined by Pamela Wiedner, best known as the English language voice of Scold and Oh My Goddess, but also a producer and director in her own right. Both of these men have been working their way up from bit parts. Forrester voiced some of the robots in Blue Submarine number 6, while Schnurr was one of the voices of the morning monsters after Dr. Zorndike died. Schnurr was impressed with Blue Sub's mixture of cell and computer animation. It's possible the future of animation. It adds more oomph to the cartoon, he said. Wiener was a part of the Blue Sub production and acting staff, working on a sci-fi series unlike others that Carolina Recording had handled. It was absolutely phenomenal, Wiener said. It was the first time we'd work on anything that crisp. It was also one of the few times she's worked on a series where no one knew the outcome of the show when dubbing began. Wiedner said the Japanese original of the Blue Sub had not been completed when the American crew had started dubbing the first of the series' 4 episodes. Tipton also didn't know what to expect from the Blue Sub, but she was also a newcomer to the idea of Japanese animation. When I auditioned for the anime part, I thought I was auditioning for another independent film. I had never heard of the anime before, said Tipton. Tsukasa Kotobuki took a blunt look at his business. Tsubasa Kotobuki's character designers for the Saber Marionette series have delighted anime fans for the mixture of cuteness and strength. Yet the artist says there was nothing cute about the development of the anime series, when the fights weren't just between Lime and the resident bad guys on Japanese. When Kotobuki spoke at Animazement on Friday, he said that disagreements between the creator of the Saber Marionette series and the series director changed the way the series was presented. Kotobuki noted that the head writer and the director didn't get along. The writer left in the middle of producing Saber Marionette J series, and that led to some odd twists in the way the series ended. Kotobuki said these disagreements aren't unusual in the Japanese animation and game industries. He had similar problem with the people who made the Battle Arena Toshinden video game, which he created with the characters. Kotobuki felt his designs were responsible for the game's success, while the game designers felt they were responsible, so Kotobuki dropped out of the development of the subsequent game in the series, which he described as a flop. And there was further irony in Kotobuki's comments. While anime fans like to bash American animation producers, especially Walt Disney, Kotobuki thinks the mouse and the Americans may have something that anime producers don't. When an American creator borrows something from Japan, they show how it could be made better. Rather than an imitation, it's an homage. It may show that the United States has more talent to entertain people. Kotobuki said that the larger number of people need to create an animated show often means that the animated version of a manga isn't as interesting as the original story. The author missed Animazment's final day for a race. The author was able to attend Animazement and the Indianapolis 500 on the same weekend, but he wasn't around for the finish of either event. When the North Carolina convention was announced for the Memorial Day weekend, the author wondered if he could split his time between Durham and Indianapolis. He managed to pull it off, but just barely. The plans meant leaving Animazement early Sunday morning, missing the convention's final day. The author walked onto a race day connecting flight at the last minute, managed to survive some bizarre traffic detours to get into the Indianapolis Motor Speedway in time for "Gentlemen, start your engines." The author watched the first half of the race from the inside of the first turn. It was a great place to take pictures of the cars with a telephoto lens, but it's not a great place from which to watch the race. The author didn't realize until he left the track and reviewed his pictures he had an image of Scott Sharp wrecked on the first lap. Sharp put his left front tire in the grass and threw himself out of control. Why didn't the author stay for the end of the 500? He chickened out when the rain arrived around halfway through the race and ran for his car. As the author was walking through the main tunnel exit from the speedway, John Erb was crashing with above him, so the author managed to miss as much as the 500 as he missed of Animazement. Animazement took a big chance in 2001. They moved from a larger facility but switched dates, going from their original mid-March timeframe to the end of May. Did that change the convention? Things certainly didn't get smaller or quieter. The longer and wider halls in Animazment's new Durham home seemed about as crowded as the previous year's hotel, probably because more people showed up. There was one odd point on Saturday afternoon where the dealer's hall didn't seem as crowded as usual. The author strolled down a hall and found that all those people were in the main ballroom watching Dormitory Iron Chef, a junk food parody of the cult hit. If anything distinguishes Animazement from other conventions, it's a mutual love affair between Yu Watase and their fans. It wouldn't be surprising if Watase generates more enthusiasm in North Carolina than in Japan. One way to see the affection is the number of people who make the costumes of Watase's characters just to see their reaction and get their picture taken with them. That's happened in all of the 3 consecutive years that Watase has been at Animazement. But the costumes have gone beyond Fushigi Yugi outfits to Ayashi no Seres costumes, and very elaborate costumes at that. If you want to know where the author completely humiliated himself over the Animazement weekend, but was too embarrassed to admit to anyone, he had planned to attend a couple of panel discussions on Saturday morning, but was jolted awake at 5 a.m. by an alarm clock that hadn't been turned off by the hotel's previous occupant. The author figured he'd get a few more winks of shut-eye and roll back into bed, and it was 11 a.m. when he woke back up. Maybe that was just the author's body telling him that 2 hours of sleep on commuter planes isn't enough to start a convention weekend. A major assist on this trip goes to United Airlines. Here's a story that proves how things that can go wrong can. A major assist on this trip goes to United Airlines. Here's a story that proves how things that could go wrong can be turned into big advantages. While on board the plane for the last leg of the author's trip home from SoccerCon, United announced that the flight was overbooked. The ticket counter rep said that anyone who volunteered to wait for the next flight would get $400 in travel vouchers, and the author grabbed his bags and rushed to the counter. He was fifth in line, and long minutes passed when the plane was boarded, minutes when the author feared the plane might not be full and he might have to take his scheduled flight. Fortunately, all the important and impatient travelers filled the plane, and the author got his voucher. The flight delay was worth $100 an hour, and the vouchers paid for all but a couple of dollars towards a plane fare to the author's next 2 convention trips. The inexpensive tickets and desire to get to Indianapolis in time for a race were the main reason that the author went to North Carolina for Animazement instead of traveling to Ontario for Anime North in Toronto. There was no practical way on this weekend to get to 2 events in 2 countries, unfortunately. The author continues to be a big fan, apologist really, of anime conventions, planning to attend these events months in advance and always looking ahead for the next show. One of the reasons that despite their many flaws, the conventions show a great quality of American life, how successive generations overcome the previous generation's experiences while learning from those experiences. Oh boy. The same weekend. Saw the paired anime convention, saw the release of the Pearl Harbor movie from Touchstone Pictures. The film was fiction to the current generation, but the Japanese air attack on the U.S. base in Hawaii was brutally traumatic tragedy to Americans in 1941. The words "Remember Pearl Harbor" weren't empty to the people that day. The attack drove the Allied prosecution of the war. In his book Deadly Sky, The American Combat Airmen of World War II, author John C. McManus wrote that during the war years, most Americans had nothing but outright hatred for the Japanese. Most Americans thirsted for revenge against Japan. The reason that Japan had, treacherously in their view, started the war and now must pay the consequences. And yet, nearly 60 years after the attack, on a weekend dedicated to the memory of war dead, the youth of 2 nations gathered in 2 cities to celebrate an art form that was generated by a former enemy. The grandchildren and great-grandchildren of men who strove to kill each other met to enjoy each other's company and culture. The war was forgotten, and all that counted was the fun of festivals. The author thinks that the popularity of Japanese animation in the wake of the war is something that never should be taken for granted. There are too many places in this world, Northern Ireland, the Middle East, Kashmir, Central Africa, where there were years where wars and affronts from centuries ago still drive modern hatred and bloodshed. By comparison, the 60 years since the U.S. entered World War II is a few ticks on the clock of world history. But the emotions that drove the war are lost on the generations of fans that gathered at Animazement and Anime North. Anime fans never learned to hate, and that's a miracle in these times. And with that said, this wraps up another edition of Fansview Fridays. We covered Animazement 2001. We'll continue going forward with conventions in 2001 for the remainder of the year and going into 2026. Thank you so much for joining us for Fansview Fridays. We really appreciate support from viewers like you. And while we are here, I would also like to talk about my book, The Fangirl Diaries. I published this book earlier this year. This is all about the intersection of girlhood and anime and conventions in an era before streaming and social media. What was it like to be a teenage anime fan back in the 90s and early 2000s, before we were even connected on Instagram, before we even posted videos on TikTok? So find out more. You can get my book at most major booksellers. Feel free to, if I'm ever at a con, you have a copy of my book, feel free to approach me and I'd be more than happy to sign a copy of your book. However, I might start charging for video, for video. But anyway, we'll cross that bridge when we get there. Thank you so much for your time. And again, we will see you next Friday at 6 p.m. Pacific time. And if you are here on YouTube, hit that like and subscribe, ring that bell for notifications. And remember, the con is what you make of it. So make it a good one. I'm trying to remember my catchphrase. I really am. And remember, we will see you at the con. And our next con is Anime Los Angeles. Can you believe